plus November. It is something that we're doing all month long for the month of November. We're going to be going live and doing tutorials and giving away free products, freebies, as well as launching some really epic new Divi products and adding new features to some of our existing popular Divi products as well. So definitely don't miss Divember. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to show you how to make sure that you don't miss any of the awesome stuff happening here at Divi Life for Divember. But yeah, so in today's tutorial, we're going to be going over how to customize your browser scroll bar for your Divi website. And so basically the scroll bar that you see on the side of every web page when you scroll up and down to kind of signify where you are on the page, well, it's typically pretty bland and pretty boring, and it is controlled by the browser. So it's going to look a little bit different from browser to browser, and different operating systems, that's going to look different, but you can actually customize that. And so it's really cool because it is another way to add just that extra splash of branding for your website or for your client's website. Branding is really important. You want to show them your color scheme over and over again, your logo over and over again, and the different things that you're about, both visually and from a value standpoint. And all of those things help create a emotional connection from your user to your company. And that's what branding is all about. And this browser scroll bar can be just that icing on the cake to kind of help push towards that branding element. And so I'm going to show you how to do that here in a second. Let's go ahead and get the screen share going. So this is what the blog post looks like for today's tutorial, how to customize your Divi website scroll bar. So you can see here we have a note talking about Divember, Divi plus November here at Divi Life. So all month long, we're going to be going live on Facebook and live on YouTube, publishing new tutorials, freebies, new product features, new product launches, everything. So make sure you subscribe. So you can click here, click the button, subscribe to the Divi Life email list. You can also make sure you're following our Facebook page. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's how you're going to get the most up-to-date live notification. So for example, if you're on the email list, you'll typically get the next day whatever tutorial or freebie we have. But if you subscribe to our social channels, then you're going to get it live on the spot. But we also have some special stuff going to the email list that's exclusive. So make sure you're on both Facebook, YouTube, as well as the email list. So let's go ahead and dive into the tutorial. Here is a quick example of what it looks like that we're going to be doing. So here's your browser scroll bar. Now, if you look on my screen here, you can see the default browser scroll bar. Very bland, very boring. But let's take a look at some examples in the wild of what it looks like to have a custom browser scroll bar. So this is CSS Tricks, a really great website with a lot of great content for learning advanced CSS as well as basic stuff too. And you can see they have a really bold, beautiful, colorful scroll bar. You can't miss it, and it matches the button gradients that they have on their site already, and that you can see the gradient is part of their branding that is used throughout the site. It's part of that visual identity of their company, and they've added it to the scroll bar as well. So very, very cool. Same thing on our own website here, our Divi Life All Access Pass landing page. We have a really cool browser scroll bar here that we just added. And same thing, it's the same gradient that we use throughout this page. That's part of the All Access Pass visual identity for our membership here at Divi Life. And we've added it as the scroll bar. So it's really, really cool. And so we're going to teach you how to do that now. Now, the blog post here, actually, before I go any further, if you're now watching this video right now live on YouTube or Facebook, let me know in the comments, say live and where you're watching live from. So if you're watching live from San Clemente, California, like me, just say live San Clemente, California, or wherever you are in the world. If you're watching the replay, say replay, and wherever you're joining from in the world. It's always great to hear where people are watching from, as well as for tracking purposes to know who's watching live and who's watching the replay. It really helps me out. So this is the blog post here. So if you're watching live, you can go over to divilife.com and you'll see the blog post as the most recent blog post there. And so this is the code, right? So very, very simple, not a lot here. It's well commented, so you know exactly what does what and how to customize it. So we're going to go ahead and do that on this website here. So this is one of our Divi Life child themes, Divi SEO. We also have a custom header with our custom header pack. And so we're going to customize it to look to match this website. And so you can see just a very bland, very boring scroll bar, and we're going to fix that. So let's go back to the blog post. I'm going to copy all of this here. And then I already have theme options opened. And so there's two places that you can put this custom CSS. The first place is right here. This is probably the quickest and easiest. And that is the custom CSS box in Divi theme options. It's just on that first tab there. And you can go ahead and place it there. Now the second place, and we talk about that in the blog post, is you can put that in your child themes style.css file. So if you don't know about child themes, you don't know how to create them and what they are, you can actually learn about that. Click that link and it'll show you exactly everything you need to know, how to create a child theme, when to use one, and all of that. And so you can also put that code there. But if you don't want to worry about that now, you don't have to. You can use the Divi theme options custom CSS box. And that's what we're going to do for this tutorial. So I put that there, I hit save. Now let's go ahead and refresh the page here. And we should have, yeah, there it is. It's exactly like the one that we have here on Divi Life. And it doesn't look great because it doesn't match the styling and branding of this existing color scheme for this child theme. So we're going to fix that. So the comments show exactly what to do. So the first thing here is that we want to do is change the color of it, right? So we have two options. We can do a gradient, or we can do a solid color. I'm going to start with customizing the gradient. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab from my color palette here. I already have these colors saved in the website. So I'm going to go ahead and paste those. So you would just replace these color values with values of your own color scheme. So I'm going to take this color here. And I'm going to go ahead and paste it here. And then I'm going to hit save. Now I'm going to refresh it, and it's probably not going to look great because I don't actually use gradients here on this website. I basically took two of the colors and made a gradient, but it doesn't really look super awesome because the gradient isn't used anywhere else on the site. And so even though it technically matches, I'm not super stoked on it. So what I'm going to do is instead, I'm going to just make it a solid color. And now you can see here in the comments, it says if you don't want a gradient, just remove the above line and then keep the line below. So we're going to do that. I'm going to remove this. And then I'm going to use that background color there. So I'm going to grab that color again, paste it here, hit save. And now I'm going to refresh this. Now it's going to be a solid color. And that looks good. It matches the color scheme. We could also change the track color if we wanted. Again, that's commented in the code here. So the scroll bar track background color. So that's a kind of a, it's not fully black, but it is a dark color there. And so I'm going to keep it there, but you can customize that if you'd like. One thing I do want to do though is I want to make it not quite as thick. So let's go ahead and do that. So to change the width, it's going to be that top value there. Let's go ahead and make it 15. See what that looks like. So we'll go ahead and refresh that page here. That looks a lot better. It's still very visible, very easy to see, but it's not quite as big and bold. And I kind of like that for this website. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that border radius. I'm just going to change that border radius to 0 and make it just solid lines with no rounded corners. Let's see what that looks like here when it refreshes. That looks really good. I like that a lot. Very clean, matches. Very, very cool. One other thing that we don't have, but it's in the code, is you could change the value on hover. So for example, if you wanted to change the background color, so when you hover over it, it changes, kind of like what we have here for this button, you can do that. And that CSS is in the code. You just need to customize it there. So you would just add background and then whatever color you want, of course, spell background correctly. So that is it for this first part of the tutorial. Now, if you go back here, if I go to About Us, for example, you will see the custom browser scroll bar on every page. Now, what if you wanted to add it just for one page? And so we actually have that here in the blog post, how to add a custom browser scroll bar to a single page. Now, before I show you how to do it, I'm going to tell you how to not do it. And the way that you can't do it, because it won't work, is you can't take that code here and just pop it into the custom CSS box in the Divi Builder page settings. So within each page, Divi has a settings with a custom CSS box that will add the custom CSS just for that page. I'm not exactly sure why, but it doesn't work in there just the way that it loads the CSS. It has to be loaded in the site-wide custom CSS, whether that's the Divi theme options custom CSS box or the style.css file of your child theme. Okay, so we can still do it. We just have to make it a little more specific in our CSS. So WordPress actually adds custom CSS classes to each page with that page's ID attached to it. So for example, this page here has a page ID. Everything in WordPress has an ID, a post ID, page ID, whatever you want to call it. And it has an ID. And so WordPress will add that ID as a class. And that allows you to target your CSS just to specific pages. And so that's what we're going to do. Now, in order to figure out what that page ID is, it's really easy. You just go over to Pages, and then you're going to click on the page that you want to edit, or I'm sorry, that you want to add that custom CSS to. And then you just look in the browser URL bar, and you can see post equals, and that's the ID, 77. So you can copy that, write it down. I can remember it, so I don't need to do that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to copy from here. You can see all we do is that's the CSS that WordPress adds, and we're just going to replace that 1, 2, 3, 4 with 77. So you'll notice there's no spaces in between the ID and the colon. So it hugs right up against there. So we want to make sure we add it the same way, otherwise it'll break. So I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to replace 1, 2, 3, 4 with 77. And I'm going to go ahead and paste that down to all of the CSS classes here. Or I'm sorry, CSS declarations. All right, so that should work. Now, I'm going to refresh the homepage. Nothing should change because I'm targeting the homepage in my CSS. So see, it's still there, so that works great. So we'll know for sure if it's working if we go to another page and see the default browser scroll bar, which we do. So that worked correctly. So that option, the second bit of code, is for adding it to a specific page, targeting the built-in WordPress page-specific custom CSS classes, and then replacing it with your page ID. So very simple, very easy to do. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. I find it really cool being able to add that extra splash of color, extra splash of branding to the website, which is really cool. Very simple, very easy to do. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this tutorial, we're going to be doing a lot more of these all month long. We're calling it DIVEMBER, Divi plus November, the words mashed up together. And it's a special thing we're doing all month long. We're going to be going live a ton, probably 5 days a week with live tutorials and new product launches. We're going to be giving away freebies, so tune in tomorrow. We're giving away a free child theme. So really, really excited. So make sure you are subscribed to our email list and then our social channels as well. So either Facebook and or YouTube. And then for YouTube, you would want to hit that bell icon, which it means that they will send you an email as soon as we go live. And you also want to make sure you're on our email list because we're going to be sending exclusive stuff there that's not part of the live stuff. So hopefully you found this helpful, and hopefully you're excited as I am for DIVEMBER here at Divi Live. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Take care. Bye-bye.